Hello everybody, it's Richard the Urban Warlock here. I'm finally breaking my silence in regard to my absence. Now, during my away time, I've stumbled across some quite disturbing evidence that some of you will already be aware of. If you are part of the spiritual community or the witchcraft community, I would please urge you to share this video now. Not because I want likes or followers on this occasion, but because I feel like this message needs to get out to as many people as possible. Unfortunately and sadly, the spiritual community has been infiltrated by a collective who are ruling with fear. Fear, greed, power, control, lust, deception. I want to start by thanking my followers and my subscribers for your patience in my return, and thank you for staying with me, and thank you for those who reached out to check if I was okay. I also want to thank one of my counterparts who recently came back after a hiatus and spoke their truth. I want to apologise also to this person for my part in them going underground. Sadly, for the last year or so, I have been gang-stalked by a collective. I have been manipulated and used to try and take down other people within the community. It has to be said that due to my naivety, I was not aware that this was happening, and I did believe that I was doing what was right for the greater good. But for anybody that has been affected by my words, I do truly and deeply apologise. Now, I'm going to send a picture to the screen in a second. It's quite disturbing in itself, the wording that's used, but to say this is linked to what I'd class as a high-ranking member of the spiritual community makes it even more so. Now, I do have to stress this is not linked to my ex. This is somebody else, and it is not linked to their spiritual based business, TikTok. It's a secondary one. These people are part of a greater collective, and I'm going to show that image now. Now, I'm sure you will all agree that the language used here is disturbing in itself, let alone to link it to somebody in the community who should be spreading positivity and positive change. Now, I'm going to refer to this person only as the weakest link. Now, to this person, what I would say is that I hope that you have strong character. I hope you have strong mental health, and I hope that you don't have to go through what I've had to go through when people start looking at you, people start gossiping about you, and when this is raised, you are just told you're being paranoid. The advantage that you have is that many people will not know who you are. The advantage that you have is that if people do start talking at you and looking at you, it's because of your actions, and it's not a plot or a ploy that has been set up by anybody else other than yourself. The other advantage that you have is that you have support around you. I didn't have that advantage during the time. However, I would question, do you trust that support? Now, I have no questions in my mind that you have any issues with eventually exposing yourself, and if you don't, I'm sure that your friends will do that for you. I believe the term that has been used previously is frenemies. Now, to this collective, what I would say to you is that you are playing a game of two truths and a lie, and you may feel that you have one upon me. You may feel that you are in control. However, there is no honour amongst thieves, and that will be your downfall. Trust is an extremely important quality and attribute, and with behaviours such as yours, there will never be any trust. Now, I do also have to stress that I am fully aware of who the real ringleader is in this. I am fully aware of who the main players and characters are. I am also fully aware of who the minions are. I'm not sure how deep this rotten apple goes, but I am aware that it is quite wide stretching, and it includes readers, healers, and retailers. Now, many people will probably think that I've been in hiding during this period, and that is simply not true. During one of the most difficult periods in my life, I've had very little support. During this time, I've been subject to psychological programming by this collective, and it's all just been made the worse, which I'm going to explain now. Now, many of you will be aware that I have recently moved. Now, during this time, when I should have been focusing on not only moving, but coming to terms with the end of my relationship, which has caused a massive fracture within the spiritual community, I have been subjected to psychological bullying. I have been subjected to psychic attacks and black magic. Now, in regard to the psychological attacks, there have been certain keywords that have been programmed into me. The main one being rage. Rage this, rage that, rage plant, rage dress. And it's all been programmed into me to eventually put me into a fit of rage. There was a conversation that was had a while back, and I did lose my temper. I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm a human being living the human experience. And when you have been psychologically profiled by a collective for a period of time, and you trust them, and you let them into your life, and you open up your heart to them, believing them to be close or friends or more, it's easy to be manipulated. However, I am often thrown into situations with very little knowledge. I often describe myself as a walking tower card, and one of the names I've been dubbed is the weapon of source. Now, these things often have to play out, and due to my naivety and my open heart, although again some may see this as a weakness, it's actually a good way for Source to help me infiltrate these situations. I'm not aware of it at the time, and it is often painful for me. But that is one of my main purposes and roles. And I've said this previously. Now, what I would say to this collective is that I've managed to hold off your attacks with little more than 2 return to sender spells and a candle. You have not been able to break me, and you've not been able to defeat me. You may have studied me for some time. You may have gone over my content and looked at my openness and honesty and picked apart my history in regard to talking about what you perceive as my weaknesses. Now, what I would say to you is that my weaknesses are my strength. I am quite happy to take that pain and change it, transmute it. My weaknesses are actually my strength, and it is something that sadly you have underestimated. So during this time, what many will have seen as me being in hiding, I've actually been going through a process of metamorphosis. I have had one of the biggest awakenings and also one of the biggest dark nights of the soul I've ever had in a short space of time, all whilst being psychically attacked, having spell work put on me, having my energy siphoned. And again, if you paid attention to my content, you will understand that, or you would have understood, should I say, that I always say, you will not break me. And you won't. Now, I'm not here to cast judgment. I'm not judge, jury, and executioner in this. I am somebody who triggers people, either helps to activate an awakening in them or triggers the demons in them, let's say. Now, I may have got into bed with the devil, but I did not sell my soul. And I saw a video the other day that said that they can take your spirit, but they cannot take your soul. And my soul is not for sale. For those who have handed over their soul, I'm sorry to hear that. Source has now activated karma. There is nothing that I can do about that, I'm afraid. That is now in the hands of Source. I am aware that these psychic abilities, any spell work, no longer works. Now I'm going to come to that in a second. Now, what I want to say to anybody in the community who feels like they may have also been affected by this collective, and let's face it, it is an elite collective, again, who are ruling by fear, power, and wanting to dominate. Anybody in the community who feels like they have been affected, please feel free to contact me via WhatsApp, and I will be more than happy to perform a cleansing and curse removal for you free of charge. Likewise, anybody in this collective, let's say, who has changed their mind and wants to change their ways, again, feel free to contact me. There will be no judgment there, and I will be happy to do that for you. Now, I'm aware of the backstory of some of this collective and why this will have happened. I can state that although the attacks in other ways continue, I do forgive you. You are human and you're living the human experience. But this needs to be outed. This needs to be talked about, and this needs to have a light shining on it. For any of my friends and close ones out there that aren't part of the spiritual community, please be aware that due to the nature of the situation, I'm not going to be making much contact. I will try and find ways to keep you informed and updated on where I'm at and stuff like that. Keep navigating what you're going through and finding your way, and please keep yourself cloaked and hidden. I will try and offer as much spiritual protection as I can. That said, I am going to be getting back to posting both my readings and my dark side of spirituality videos very soon, and getting back on my lives. I have a strong support network with my dark side collective subscribers and the community that I have there. And I just want to thank them, and I want to thank everybody who's shown me support, be it physically or from a distance. And I just want to reiterate again that, I won't be stopped, and I won't. Now, as I mentioned, this collective are starting to realise that any psychic abilities, any black magic that they have been using has not worked, and it will not work on me. As such, they have now moved to a more 3D based attack in regard to trying to shut down myself and my business. Now, I'm sure that the rhetoric will be that I have been removed. However, please let me remind you that I initially removed myself by metaphorically pipe bombing the weakest link. Now, there's an on-running joke with this collective when they want me removed by stating there's been a complaint about me. Now, I can verify 2 genuine complaints in my time. Any reader worth their salt will get complaints on occasion. Now, it doesn't bother me. I understand that the way I read is direct. I understand the way that I read involves personal experience. What I would say to this collective is I'm not going to change that, and I'm not. If anybody feels that any of my life stories are about them, then that shows their level of arrogance and ego, because I never mention names, I never put times or dates on these things. Now, this collective will have you believe that I was removed, but like I say, I did remove myself first. I took swift action when I found out this evidence. Now, I want to raise a point. I'm going to show you the email that I received. Again, things have been blanked out. There's no evidence here. So, yet again, the running joke is that there was a complaint about me. Now, this event that has been mentioned was well over a month ago. Now, I can come to 3 conclusions why this excuse has been used. Number 1 is that there was an actual complaint, and this collective decided to sit on it because they understand my worth and value. And they've used that as an excuse at a later date. The second is that there was a complaint, and this collective have deliberately held this off to use it as ammunition against me, knowing full well this would be their plan overall. The third is that there was no complaint, and this has just been used as an excuse. Now, I do have to stress that outside of the genuine complaints that I have received, there has never been any verification, and it has always been the same person who has either delivered the news to me or been involved. Now, moving forwards, any complaints that may be received, let me remind you that they are all recorded on CD. I would ask that any organisers request that CD to listen back and cast their own judgment, and then forward it on to myself. Now, if I suspect that there is any underhand behaviour here, I will take legal action. Simple as that. Moving on, I'm just touching back on the fact that this collective have lost any kind of psychic or magic abilities. I was contacted yesterday by another event organiser who will remain nameless. I have no issue whatsoever with this event organiser, who called me to state that reluctantly they were having to remove me off their events. Quoting, they'd received visitors today and it was in regard to a complaint that they'd had at one of their events. This collective is scared. This collective is now using underhand methods of thuggery to bully and pressure other people into getting what they want. Now, if this collective approach any other event organisers and do this, first off, I would urge you to contact the police. Second off, if you feel like you can't do that and you feel it's in your best interest to remove me from an event, I will totally understand. I don't want people getting hurt. I don't want people getting scared. Now, what I would say is that although this might have an impact on my short-term income, what this collective has actually done, I want to thank them for. Because all you have done is justify that I am the most controversial reader, not only on the event circuit, but possibly the UK. I will not stop my reading style. I will not stop calling out the BS in the spiritual community and the witchcraft community, because that is one of my roles. That is one of my jobs. Now, I'm sure due to my recent mental health that I've been open and honest with about, that the excuse will be now that this is me feeding into my paranoid delusions, etc. However, I'm going to take you back to 8 and 6 months ago, where I was talking about this. This role in this world, I have 3 roles, and I've said this before on video, so again, stuck record time, do apologise. Okay, so role number 1 for me is activating people. Okay, so with my readings, if you're new to me, sometimes they can trigger awakenings. Don't mean to do it, just fucking happens. Yeah, that's why I tag myself the activator. Okay, it's a bit of a silly tagline, but it's what I do. Okay, I don't just do readings. The second is that I seem to have this ability whereby I can pick up if somebody has quite strong potential. So they've got strong mediumship skills, strong tarot skills, they might be an energy worker of some sort, whatever. Okay, I can identify those. The third is doing things like this and calling out the fucking bullshit. Okay, now, for me, this ascension process is just kicking off. For me, the ascension process isn't just this nice process of people waking up. It's actually a bit of a war. It's a spiritual war between light and dark. Now, as mentioned in previous videos, I believe that God, or Source, as it's called in this world, is both light and dark, okay? And it's a war to see which side, we go. Now, most people who get into kind of healing or reading and stuff like that, they will be wanting to do it for the right reasons. So on the light side, helping people change, helping people to get into alignment and find what they're supposed to be doing. However, there are people who are doing it for their own ego and doing it for their own greed. Now, there is nothing wrong whatsoever in making money out of this job. As long as you're not getting greedy with it, okay, you should certainly not be getting in your head and thinking you're God's gift, because you're fucking not, okay? You are literally a conduit. And Source has every right to remove that from you. And I've seen it, it's happening. There are an awful lot, and it tends to be the mediums who get into their head, they think they're great, and they'll, I'm this, I'm that, blah. Well, they're losing their gifts and their abilities. Okay, what they're then doing, they're dipping deeper into their ego, they're dipping into darker energies to try and feed that, because they can no longer pass on these messages, because rather than doing it to help people, they're doing it because they want the accolade and the money and stuff like that. Now, as is with anything, you are an autonomous human being and you can choose whether you do something with that or not. That is entirely your choice, okay? Let me just remind you though that if you are a light worker or a starseed, you do have a responsibility. So please try and step up, you know, stop being a pussy and realise that you need to make some changes in your life and step up, okay? Simple as that. Now, as things have gone on, and more recently, I've been getting some people whereby they're kind of on the fence, or I'm starting to get people who are low vibrational coming through. Now, as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I have a bit of a theory. So if you go down the line of there are light workers and starseeds and their souls are slightly different from the majority on Earth, I believe that you can have entity-based souls. Now, they are people, they are human beings, but their soul comes from a lower vibration, and they are there to serve the darker side of source, if you want to call it that. I also believe that you can get dark star seeds, not very nice star seeds. Now, I'm starting to find that I'm getting people coming to me because they want activating and they're low vibrational. Okay, I have some people coming along to me who have the potential to be very good, but at the moment they're still a bit stuck in their ego. Okay, so they're wanting me to do it so that they can release that potential to serve themselves. Well, you might be able to pull the wool over my eyes for a certain period of time, but unfortunately I am starting to follow my intuition again. So if I do pick up on anything, I'm sorry, I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm not going to start creating these monsters. And if I do by accident, then you will have to face me in the 5D, as they call it. And you will, okay? And I will take you down. Simple as that. Now, I do have to stress that I do not believe any of this collective have entity-based souls. I know the truth of why this has happened. I know the truth of why some of them have turned to darkness. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. However, you can change. You have it within you to change. I'm going to go to a next clip now. There needs to be more etiquette, please. This is my plea. Because it's, like I say, it's just not right. It's just not right. It's not fair. And again, like I said in the other part, if you are doing this because of greed or because you're wanting to one-up on somebody, it's wrong. Get the fuck out of the community. Okay, it's not about you. Okay, it's about people that we serve. Okay, we are here to serve. Okay, yes, we are here to make money as well, because like I say, there's nothing wrong with making money. Okay, it's your job. That's perfectly fine. But ultimately, you are here to serve. And by watering it down, all it does is cause bullshit. Now, I'm going to put a little warning out. Okay, and this goes to all the event organisers. Okay, be it they be good ones and they've got etiquette or not. Okay, if this silly bullshit does not stop, okay, I will unionise the readers. And I will, and you know I fucking will, because I'm a pain in the arse, okay? I'll put something together whereby we all agree, we'll set up a union, and if there's silly bullshit or we feel like we're losing out because you lot can't agree and you're acting like fucking children because you want to get in competition with one another, then I'll unionise them, and I will, okay? And like I say, we'll stand together and we'll say, you know, if we feel like we're missing out, or if we feel like our loyalties are, torn, because that's another thing, you know, people having this attitude of, well, if you go with them, then, you know, you're in competition with me now then. Bullshit, you know. As I said at an event back in summertime, when they were talking about loyalty and stuff like that, which was fair enough, you know, they felt a little bit hard done by, you know, my loyalties lie with me, okay? And they do, and I'm not going to lie about it, okay? So as you can see, I've been saying this stuff for some time. Now, if it is a question of bad mental health, why was nothing said at the time? Why did this collective encourage this behaviour? Why was I not approached? Why was there no concern? Now, let's be clear, I'm not going to unionise the readers. The reason being is that I'm not aware of who's gone dark. I'm not aware of who's brave. Put it that way. Now, I have to state to this collective, I have an awful lot of screenshots, voice recordings, emails, an awful lot of evidence. Now, you may try and remove or hide content, especially between the month of May this year, going back to, I believe it's around about July of 2022. I'm fully aware that you haven't deleted this. I'm fully aware that you've just hidden it, knowing that I will mention this and then you can start reactivating certain posts. But I am also aware there will be some kind of evidence within that. Please be aware that I have screenshots of the psychological tampering that you have put out on social media, and it does contain your brand logo. Now, all this information I'm not going to reveal, and I'm not, because again, I'm not judge, jury and executioner. That is down to source, not me. I've been dubbed the destroyer, not because I want to destroy the spiritual community, not because I want to destroy relationships with people, but because I channel Shiva energy. And I'm here to destroy illusions. I am here to destroy ego. I'm here to destroy power and fear. Now, many of you, I'm sure, will be wanting to know where we go from here and what I'm going to do next. And as always, I'm going to be open and honest with you. I have nothing to hide whatsoever. What I'm going to do next is nothing. My karmic debt with Source has now gone. It's been eliminated. One might say I've paid my penance. Now, the reason for this is that I can't fight this alone, to be honest with you. And I shouldn't have to. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to find the rein to my head. And I know that they'll come in time. However, I've been saying for the last year that, love and light does not work. I've been saying for the last year that people need to start stepping into duality. I've been warning people that this was going to happen. And ironically, most of you are already aware of this. Unfortunately, my script to the play was burnt. And I've been playing catch up and riddles all this time. Now, I am aware that some of you out there want me to take charge of running the Light Brigade with my Dark Side Collective, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that whilst the rest of you hide and cower and fear and pretend nothing's happening. I'm not going to do it. Why should I? Why should I be the martyr? I don't channel Christ consciousness. I don't even believe in Christ consciousness. I'm not going to be the martyr for somebody else's cause. I don't fear this collective, and I don't, because anything that they do, I will just transmute it. I will play it into my favour. There is nothing to fear. If you are truly a spiritualist, if you are truly a witch who understands balance, then you understand the ascension process. And if you are hiding, and if you are fearful about pleasing a collective because you're worrying about where your next paycheck's coming from, or you're worried about your status within the community, do you really understand it? Because that fear is controlling you. That fear is holding you back. Now, I'm not going to beg to anybody, be it here or in the 5D, ever. I've done my time, and if nobody will stand with me, if the only person who is going to lift their head above the parapet is somebody who's not really active on the scene, let's say, then why should I? Why the fuck should I? It's time for you love and lighters to release the fucking fear. It's time for you love and lighters to do what you preach. Rather than putting out happy jolly go lucky posts saying let's all be nice to each other, stand the fuck up. Raise the banner. Because I'm sick of doing this on my own, and I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to do it anymore. I will just keep to myself. I will work with those who are brave enough to work with me. I will continue to rise with my social media presence. Now, somebody that I used to have a great deal of respect for once said to me that I was an asset. And to be quite frank, I am. There is nobody that reads like me. There is nobody that is brave enough to talk about this stuff like I do. Now, some people might not like what I do and who I am, but the only reason for that is that they fear me. They fear the change that I bring in. They fear the fact that I'm not bothered about competition, that I'm not bothered about power, that I'm not into greed. Now, just to reiterate again, there is nothing wrong with making money out of this game, and there's not. God knows I am owed. I am fucking owed. However, it is not my main driver. I want to be comfortable. I want a peaceful life. But it is not my main driver. Now, something else that this person said was that they've not even started yet. Well, I will echo that sentiment for myself. I've not started yet. I have got the fastest growing following within a year. I might not be the most popular reader on the event circuit, but I've not been doing it for 20 odd years. I've been doing it for 2. I've pushed my social media content less than a year. I'm the only reader that is about to go on to the creator program shortly with TikTok that is active on the event circuit. And I am fully aware that this collective has also tried to manipulate and pull me down in regard to that. I will continue to rise. I will not be defeated. I will not change my reading style. I will not fear you, because I don't. There is nothing to fear. Once you remove yourself from that grip, there really is nothing to fear. So I will hand it over to the community, because I've done my part. My karma is paid. My debt is paid. And either way, I'm going to have a good life. And I am. It is down to you lot to decide. Do you bury your head in the sand? Do you fall for this collective's plan? Or do you stand the fuck up and say no more? Simple as that. So I just wanted to end this rather long video with the very famous words to everybody within the community. That being, united we stand, divided we fall. Welcome to the dark side.